Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Monday, October 13th, 2025 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is, may I remember that the beauty that I love is what I am. So remembering that you are the beauty that you love. And that is taken from Rumi's verse, may the beauty you love be what you are, or be what you do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. One of my favorite Rumi verses. So today we have two big shifts. We have Venus moving into Libra, where it will be until November 6th. And we have Pluto going direct after being retrograde for about 5 months. Oh my gosh, since May. So this is exciting that we have these shifts today. Now let me be fair and say that Venus, before going into Libra, is going to spend a large portion of the day in the sign of Virgo. And so we may find ourselves really leaning into the critical energy of Virgo. We might see our relationships in a critical eye. We may connect to ourselves and our own healing process with a critical notion, a critical energy. There's more than criticism when it comes to Virgo. So much more, right? But that's an easy default energy. And especially when we're at 29 degrees, when the Virgo energy is strong, it's really easy to default into that. So watch for where that perfectionist is spiking up. Now, that being said, I always say that Libra is oftentimes just as much as a perfectionist as Virgo is, only in a different way. So we're still going to be working with that energy when that shift comes. But I do want to say with Venus and Virgo, do make sure that you are connecting in to the wholeness of yourself and not just the critical mind. Drop into your heart, drop into your body, do something nice for yourself physically. And also remember your spirit and your soul. Because again, that critical nature may be coming up around relationships with yourself, with others, all of that. And too much of that is not supportive. A critical eye can always be beneficial in pointing us towards healing, but when we stay there, we skip the evolution, right? So Venus is moving into Libra at 12:15 p.m. Actually, it's 12:19 p.m. Pacific time. Did I say 12? What am I even talking about? 2:19 p.m. Pacific time is when Venus is moving into Libra. Now, this is adding to the air energy, and you may have airhead moments like I just did. Not to mention that Pluto's going direct in the sign of Aquarius. This is my second time trying to do this scope, because before I was trying to tell you that Pluto was in Gemini, and I was like, Mimi, what are you doing? So good luck with the brains today. Good luck with a little bit of this extra air energy and the shifty air energy. Venus in Libra is a chance to look at and connect to beauty. Like I said, remembering that you are the beauty that you love. Like what you love and what you find beautiful is often a reflection of yourself. So that's really beautiful. I think the high side of Venus in Libra is looking for the beauty in things and seeing the beauty of the world that's around us and instigating a little bit more beauty and creativity into our lives. One of the downsides is what I mentioned before, that I feel like Libra can be just as, if not more, perfectionist in its energy, thank you phone, than Virgo is. And so keep that awareness for this transit. Watch for your perfectionist tendencies. And this is one of the places where you can see beauty in the imperfection. And being that Libra is a sign of balance, it's also okay to not see the beauty. It's also okay to see the ugly. As I was sitting here looking at this astro, deciphering the energies, I heard my teacher Khufu be like, acknowledge the ugliness too, you know? And I think that's an important part of life in this world, is to seek out the beauty and hold space for it, but also to acknowledge where it's not beautiful, you know? That's important. It's part of the whole discernment process. Now, I also want to note that once Venus moves into Libra, Venus will be at 0, and the 0 Venus always has like a graceless kind of energy. It can be a little bit of a challenge, and we're coming off of that 29 Virgo, so the day may just be kind of meh. Speaking of, happy Indigenous Peoples Day. It's not speaking of the meh, but speaking of the day, the meh is like, you know, I think that there's going to be a lot of graceless people out there, as usual, with anything, right? And so just watch for that. Watch for that. We also have Pluto going direct, which is, it's major for people who are facing the Plutonic colonic effects. Pluto brings the stuff up to the surface. Pluto brings everything you don't want to look at. Pluto brings what you fear. It brings what you may consider the darkness to the surface. Knowing where Pluto is in your chart, whether it's natally, where it was when you were born, but also where it is currently, it's at 1 degree Aquarius. Knowing where Aquarius is in your chart could be helpful in this process. Also looking from your sun and ascendant, and if you don't know what that means, reach out to your beloved astrologer to help you. That being said, Pluto has been retrograde since May. Lots of shenanigans between now and then. Pluto in Aquarius is such an interesting vibe because I do feel like one of the major lessons of Aquarius is vibration. And another major piece of Aquarius is the collective, our collective Earth tribe that we are here all together trying to rise up together, right? So with Pluto going direct, we may have learned things. We may have seen a lot of the underbelly through this retrograde time. And hopefully we all faced whatever fears may have shown up. That's really interesting. I'm like decoding my own chart in my head right now. Whatever may have shown up since that May energy. Here, I'll give you a little taste. So for me as a Gemini ascendant, Pluto energy is my 11th house. And right at the time that Pluto went retrograde is when my Gaia blooming page was lost. And I had a large community on there that I had developed over the last 13 years. And it was devastating to lose it. I trust in the process, but also made me face fears, and I'm still facing them because it has totally changed my dynamic of views that I have on YouTube and took away money that I made on multiple places, you know. So it's definitely made me face some of those deeper, darker, underlying things. Where has it been for you? What challenges have you been through? Maybe it's Pluto. Maybe it's Aquarius. Maybe it's Uranus. That's what I meant to say. There's a lot of different places. Maybe it's Saturn. A lot of different places these energies could show up. But with Pluto, hopefully we're looking, okay, this is what I've had to face. This is how I move forward empowered. This is how I move forward working on my vibrational energies. Because vibrational energies is one of the most potent currencies to utilize on this planet. And getting a hold of it is going to be a big part of the process from now to 2046. So really paying attention to that, and even just noticing, like, what kind of vibrational journey have you been on since May? Have you noticed those pockets? Again, knowing where it is in your chart can be extra helpful. Now, are you going to feel Pluto direct? Some might, especially those who've been working within a connection to Pluto at 1 degree Aquarius. If you have anything right there, or anything at like 1 degree, 2 degrees, 0 degrees in your chart, you may have been feeling this energy. Not to mention, it has yachted so many things. So I do think that there's a lot of lessons in this planetary energy going direct. I will mention that my Magic School Bus card, you know, where we have this adventure, where we're moving towards the light but facing the darkness, is part of my cards today. And this is always part of the Pluto work. Yes, we want to move into the light. Yes, we want to look at the beauty, but we cannot forget to notice there are these other energies that we need to be aware of. So how are you empowering the process? And how are you empowering whatever things that you've had to face that have brought out fears, whether it's fears about money or fears about getting enough views or being seen, or fears in your relationships, or fears in how you communicate what you want to say to the world. There's so many layers of this. There's so much. How are you facing that in moving forward? Now, besides all this, we have the moon in Cancer helping us feel our feels and just keep swimming through these energies. So the moon in Cancer today is connecting to Mars. It's connecting to the sun in Libra in a square, which again might feel like a little meh kind of feeling energy. I think that where there's an interesting energy between Cancer and Libra is like Libra a lot of times will want to get out, be social, do all the things, and Cancer sometimes is like, I just kind of want to stay in my bubble. I'm happy over here in the bubble. So you may have a little bit of conflicting energies there. The moon is also connecting to Jupiter, and you may have to face, again, some of the feels, some of the fears, especially as Pluto finishes up its last few hours of this retrograde process. Technically, it goes direct at 7:53 p.m. So watch for where these energies are working you. Moon is also connecting to Saturn, a trine with Saturn. So the evening after Pluto goes direct may still have some heaviness and some lessons around the responsibility to face. We also have today Venus, newly in the sign of Libra, connecting to Neptune in Aries at 0 degrees. And to me, this is you relating with your spiritual self and finding that balance. You know, like Libra, balance in all things. And so the balance of this is like 1 foot in the spiritual and 1 foot in the earthly realm. And making sure that you're like finding what that balance is. And just accepting who you are in the spiritual realm, in that spiritual energy. Because a lot of times we can push that away to kind of focus on the more like skimmy ideas of being here on the planet. You know, just the more surface layer things. So work in all those layers. Chart wise, like I said, we have this card showing up. We've got the patience card. Venus at 0 for sure requires patience. So take that time to ground. The grounding will help too, like I said, because there might be some air heady energies. Love this. Strong air sign energy is once again reminding us existence. This is the Magician card. Where's your head at? Where's your mind at? How are you working the manifestation process? How are you working your manifestation process? And again, remembering that manifestation is always happening. We're always, oh, I want this, I don't want that. We're always working it. But like, what is the deeper conversation? Things don't work out for me. Things do work out for me. Really having awareness around that is kind of what I'm getting with, not that card, this card, the existence card. But this card too. Being aware of the shadows. Don't just look at the beauty, your beautiful thoughts. What are the uglier thoughts that are underneath the surface? We also have Queen of Wands, one of my favorite cards. And I think that this is a good look for Venus in Libra. Showing up and offering your light. Excuse me, offering your light to the world. Finally, we do have the Outsider in reverse. This is one of those inner children cards. So there may be some inner child stuff coming up, and that may be also connected to some of the fear stuff. It also might be where we have to look and feel where we have felt left out. That's one of those ugly things about the air signs. Air signs so want to, most of them, connect in, right? And have those connections. But we might have to look at those places where we haven't been able to connect in like that. Oh, I closed it out. Excuse me, I inhaled something weird. Not that, but like something in the air, like a dust. I inhaled a dust. I'm going to read this because this feels so right on for the time that we're in. So it's a little longer, but you are very open to the other side. The veil that separates the world is very fine for you. For there is much love in your heart, and love exists beyond all barriers, including those of time, distance, and even death. If you wish to communicate with those who have passed on, do so through your heart. If you want to connect energetically with your beloved, even though you are separated in physical locations, you can do that now. If your psychic abilities are opening and you need confirmation or reassurance, accept this message of guidance as being such. Those who have passed on can receive fully and peacefully into the light, and your love guides them home. The message that you sense in your own heart the messages that you sense in your own heart that come from unconditional love, that uplift and reassure, can be trusted. The light is so close to you, beloved, it surrounds you as a glow from within. This oracle brings you guidance that you are connecting with a field of awareness that is real, and you are protected by light as you do so. It is confirming that there is nothing for you to fear, and that those who have passed on or will pass on in the future will always be safely held in love. It's confirmation that there are very real bonds that connect you and your loved ones, past, present, and future, and they are beyond the confines of time and space. That was hard to read. The veils are thinning. This is that time, and that might be part of these connections to look into with Venus now moving into Libra. So I'm going to leave that here for today. Please reach out if you would like some support, a reading, a clearing, or if you have any questions. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and remember who you are. Oh, we're back to that, huh? Remember who you are. Know that may your guiding light be strong. There we go. And know that you can trust the process and take some time to ground, because airhead energies. Namaste.